Hello, my name is Justin Hartman. I'm joining you today from Hong Kong, and I'm pleased to be introducing our presenter this afternoon, Dr. Annie Choi, who's joining us from Macau. And she works at the International School of Macau as curriculum support for kindergarten. And she's going to be talking today about listening to children's voices and documentation in the kindergarten classroom. And so without further ado, I would like to now hand over to Annie to take us through the presentation. As with all of these live streams, if you are joining us live and not listening to the recording, please do drop any comments or questions into the chat, and we'll have an opportunity once Annie's finished her presentation to come back to those questions. So over to you, Dr. Choi.
Hello. Thank you so much, Justin. We were just talking about, a little bit about weather and the weather in Korea that I will fly back this Saturday. And thank you so much for joining today's session. And I'm Annie Choi, working at TIS for curriculum support kindergarten. And I'm really grateful to 21st Century Learning for allowing me to have this sharing my PhD study and teachers documentation tips for early childhood teachers. So can I start the slide? Oh, so this is about me. I was born in Korea and lived in China for 16 years and worked for an American school for kindergarten and high school because my major is computer science. So I taught computer science, AP computer science, IB Korean literature, high school technology. But before that, I was in kindergarten teacher. So when I moved to Macau, I started to teach kindergarten again. And that's the time that I studied the PhD. And the school where I work now is implementing Reggio Emilia approach and Alberta curriculum. And from last year, IB PYP program, we just got authentication. So we require 21st century learners with lots of skills, especially to be independent, creative, and collaborative, and having critical thinking skills and global citizenship too. As you see the photo on the right top, that my children, they are reading story. They are telling the story to Mateo, the traveling teddy bear. Mateo started his journey in Spain and goes to different schools internationally. So teachers are sending him with a big box and some of his clothes and different things, and his journey of a small like a play passport and things. So we had him for a month, and the children brought him everywhere they go. And students learned how to take care of Mateo as their little brother, and they played with him and teach him things what they did at school. The children learned about another country that Mateo is traveling from and to, and we sent him to another school after a month. So young children have their own beliefs and they have unique perspectives and ideas, and they interpret their world using their own theories. So they build the knowledge through exploration and experimentation. As we EC teachers, we must respect their voices and support them to build the knowledge together. In this way, children can be leaders in their studies and grow as independent learners. Here we want to, okay, so something I'm missing. Okay, so we need to listen to the young children, and the children's Yeah, and the children's perspective and ideas we don't know very well. So listening to their voices can foster a sense of belonging, and also we respect their ideas. And it is also supporting their development as independent thinkers and decision makers. So here we want to think why we want to record children's voices. And sorry for this weird format, because I was uploading, changing to PDF, something did not work, but the other pages are fine. So teachers' listening behavior to children's ideas empowers them to feel valued and important. So when children know their teacher wants to listen to them, they actively participate in learning activities and engage with others. The teacher needs to carefully listen to their children's verbal and even nonverbal expressions, including facial expressions and their body languages. As in the famous poem, The 100 Languages of Children, they express their ideas and their thinking different ways, even nonverbal ways, even more. And documenting children's voices can help teachers, as we can assess our students according to their comments and their performances. And reflection helps them think about their work, and teachers can assess the students, what they say, and how they perform at work. So when I moved to TIS, I had to implement the Reggio Emilia approach in my classroom. And since I only used the Montessori and American curriculum from my previous school in China, I did not really know how to support children's agency or how to focus on their voices. If I knew, what kind of ideas they have, I could better support their learning. So this research started from my desire to understand the children's voices, and that made me start and dig it. So the background of research coming from a few facts in Macau from the research data. So Macau is like Hong Kong. It's a multicultural and multilingual society. But more than half of the students in Macau are local Macanese or from mainland China in my school. So they have a strong family background under the influence of Confucian heritage culture. Their parents, caregivers, ask their children to show respect to teachers. And the idea of being a good student in Asian culture, even me when I was growing to, it is to become a good listener. So since we have many of these children with the ELL students at school, international school teachers are having hard time to finding out young children's ideas. The teaching culture in Macau, local schools, is quite different from that of Hong Kong, which is highly competitive and fast changing. According to the research, local schools teachers in Macau are more reluctant to adopt a new pedagogy, and many schools still use direct teaching. Lots of local kindergartens still use written assessments and didactic instruction in classrooms. So the voices of children are very often neglected in their learning. So the students, because of their busy schedule and also high teacher-student ratio. My first objective was to learn how to listen to young children and find out what is going on in their work. So if I knew them, what they are interested in, so I could support better, and they also can develop some higher order thinking skills. So there was some previous research about children's ideas, documentation, and thinking skills, and some of them are listed here. However, the documentation was made for the teachers to summarize or share their learning stories at the end of the project. And that was shared with the parents and colleague teachers, but not for the children. And some scholars observed the children's thinking skills, but it was not created as a documentation either. So this research shows the significance of focusing on the voices of the children, and the children's voices became the main data along with their photos and work information. This study shows how a teacher's close observation, documentation, and reflection with children and daily support can help them to improve their learning and develop their thinking skills. So these are the research questions. The first one is how much I could use children's voices to improve their learning. And the second one is about how documentation helps children to develop their thinking skills when they reflect on their learning, and how much children's thinking skills could develop with the reflective practice. So as I mentioned, the children's comments were the primary data to analyze their learning and thinking skills. Therefore, this is a qualitative and participatory action research. And it was a convenient sampling because I worked with the two groups of my classroom students for more than one school year. And the students were 4 to 5 year olds, calling in Hong Kong and Macau, they call them K2 students. So I collected two kinds of data. The first part is the data to record the children's learning and their comments, such as pictures, observation notes, reflective discussion videos, documentation posters, graphic organizers, seesaw posts, and weekly documentation. And the second part is the data to analyze the children's learning and thinking skills, such as transcribed documents from the discussion video and learning chart and gingerbread man charts that I created, and weekly parent feedback to listen the feedback from the parents how they think their children's learning is going. So the data was collected from September 2018 to 2019. And we have 3 terms a year. And the first term of 2018 to 19 was used as a pilot cycle to test and create whatever I think is needed. So it was my test period. And cycle 1 started after Christmas holiday. So it's from January until March was a cycle 1 for 1 term. And the third term, last term of this school year was a cycle 2 from April to June 2019. And after summer holiday, cycle 3 was done with the new student group from September to December and using the same method. And I wanted to compare how they are different. The different student group could perform differently. So I wanted to see. So this daily documentation poster was made. So from now on, I'm also introduced different data that I collected to record children's voices and work information. And this is the first one, most important for the children, is the daily documentation poster. I made it every day after school and recorded their learning stories and some of the children's meaningful comments that it is showing or implying their learning and thinking skills. And usually teachers in Reggio-inspired schools create documentation posters to share their learning stories at the end of learning project, but I made it every day and we use it next day. So my objective to make a documentation poster was to help children to remember and reflect on their learning every morning. So this documentation poster really helped the children throughout the research, to record the children's daily learning and their comments. And we used it for reflective discussion after next morning. And they became children's planning tools. After they discuss and listen to others, they were playing, oh, I want to go back to this center, or I will try another center after they listen to children, another friend's play story. So, and also I posted them, and it is also inviting children to have a self-reflection when I posted in the classroom. And after a few days, I post them outside the classroom to share with the other parents and other colleague teachers. So every morning we use documentation posters to have reflective discussions. After greetings and check-in, the children watched the documentation poster and started to share what they had done the previous day. So usually when you ask your children, what did you do yesterday? They have no idea. I don't know, they forgot. So, but when with this visual data, they found themselves in the photo. Most of the young children, they say, oh yeah, I did this, I did that. And with this friend, I played this, I tried that. So they could really talk about what they have done. While the students shared their work, other children learn, oh, okay, so my friend played there, so I want to try that one too. And ELR students, usually they are quiet and mostly listening. But when I ask them, do you remember what you have done? And they walk to the board and they're pointing, oh, I go here, I do this. And so they could join our reflection too. And I added some details of what I observed. Oh, she was doing this and somebody came over and they tried to make this and change it. So when I shared, so because I was there to observe. And end of the reflection, children planned where to go to work for the day or try another center. And they also invited other children to work together. So the video is there. And the video was transcribed. So I usually like every day more than 1 hour to transcribe it because of play, stop, and I was typing. So the second column is my word, what I was talking. And the third column is the students' words that show what they're talking. And the other columns on the right also shows the answers of my other research questions and my reflection and my support plan. And children's comments are, as you see, some of them are color-coded, and different colors represent their different higher-order thinking skills that I was looking for. And these thinking skills were counted, the frequency, and analyzed to see what kind of children's higher-order thinking skills were found during the each data collection cycle. So I was counting and making graph to compare what are there. And this is another one, observation notes. I recorded this twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon during our learning centers. And each learning center shows which children worked there and how they worked, or what kind of material they used or changed it, or what they said, their comments to. And my reflection and support plan was added there on the right as well. And as I continued to observe and record the observation notes, I could see each child's strengths or the areas they need to grow. So from this practice, I do it every day. Writing report card got much easier because I remember and I've been writing down their strengths and weaknesses. So from this, and including their also favorite learning centers, and some of them need to improve in this area, so I could easily say it. And graphic organizers, we made a lot during our brainstorming ideas or new concept that we are talking about, or some incidents happen, so what can be done next time, so and I also try to add some of the drawings. So children, when I'm just writing, these JK, K2 children, they don't read. So I'm also intriguing them to catch up with what we are talking. And you also see some of the sticky notes, yellow sticky notes. When we were discussing, and the next hour was a Mandarin Chinese language time, and Chinese language teacher comes in and asks them, do you want to continue this discussion? So they were writing and putting on the sticky notes in Mandarin. So they do this discussion in Mandarin as well. So a Mandarin teacher could listen to more and collect more children's ideas. And some of the ELL students, they're more happy to share, and they also know what's going on even better and clear. So this helped me bring up some of the learning center ideas and what kind of books I can bring or what kind of activities I can support their learning in the learning centers. So we had many ad hoc discussions according to the events and incidents, so children could discuss and learn more from each other. And you see two learning charts that is on the right. And I made this one to see the changes and improvements in their learning. So each learning center and different recess places, they were written by different dates. And it starts from the center of the paper, and the work evolves according to the dates in a counterclockwise direction. And on the first day, Eddie shares his findings in the outdoor classroom. If you take the sand and put water, then you can make sand. So children are discovering some of the facts that they could enjoy, and they were sharing with me. And the children used the big water table cover, brought it and put it on the here area, and they made the slides. And they helped each other to build a bridge with the big building blocks over the puddle after the rainy day. And they played the water in different places after the rain. So all different, interesting changes that I recorded. And some of the important learning, I highlighted them. And the other small learning chart on top shows that how children's play evolved in their shop play when they worked with the community helpers. So during the play, they realized that they have a shop and they set up their products like toys and different cute things they pretending they're selling and books. But they said, "Oh, Miss Choi, we need money." And they asked me how to make money, so I showed them how to write numbers. So they write numbers and cutting the paper so they could make a play money with the writing numbers. And one of the other data to see children's improvement in learning was comparing the image of the children's work from different times. The children showed improvement in learning for a short time, just as you see the two photos with the blocks. So a few days, they are keep trying and making it higher and more sturdy shape, and not only stacking the same side. So you can see the improvements of their thinking skills and learning. And the other is the self-portrait from different times. So each child's work shows improvement in fine motor skills and also describing the details, and they're getting better, and you can see and compare from different times. And weekly documentation, I made it. This is for parents quickly share previous work's learning activities, what happened last week. So parents who are really busy and not really checking their Seesaw posts, so they can stand in front of the classroom door, and I put small table and put this one printed out. So they are flipping over the folder, and they were checking, oh, so last week they did this. So I summarized the title and some of the photos that were doing it. So weekly documentation shows important learning activities with the short descriptions during the week, and it helped parents and children also reflecting together on Monday morning outside the classroom. And this one I named gingerbread man chart because I put gingerbread man shape inside in between two lines on the left and right. So I divided into half and listed all the curriculum areas. It was starting from every list on the right side. And when they can do it, I moved to the left side. So we had 3 terms I told you. So end of each term, I went over and the children could do it. I move it from the right side to the left side. So as you see in this chart, this girl, she covered more curriculum areas in each term. So on the right is getting less and less. And since she was an ELL student, the building vocabulary of comparing sizes and measurements was a bit challenging for her. So that was only left at the end of the school year. And documentation, different kinds of documentation posters I posted in the classroom, and children visited alone or with the peers, and they're pointing their photos and they're talking to each other and they're having so much fun. They were so happy to see their photo is on the wall. In this way, self-reflection can happen very naturally without I'm prompting. So I didn't have to do that, and they just walked and observed and they were taught. And hallway documentation, after our reflection, I posted the daily documentation posters a few days and graphic organizers inside a few days so children could visit. And then a few days later, I put them outside so parents could see. And when they are dropping the children in the morning, they're asking to the children, oh, what is this? What do you think? And about different topics or discussions or learnings. What did you do here? What did you learn? They were reflecting naturally. So they were also reinforcing children's learning as well. And parents asking, and that was just naturally happened. I did not even have to encourage them to, can you check? I didn't have to say that. And one of the children's knowledge building stories here, then we had the rainy season, rainy and sunny days repeated. And the children found the puddles and water in the old tires and water tables and puddles. So children, and then the next day, the sunny day and the waters are all gone. So children are talking during the reflective discussion. Oh, I didn't see the water today and it was gone. And they were talking, and then that is repeating. Water is there, gone, there, gone. And after that, a few weeks later, the children could make conclusion. Oh, okay, now we know that the sun dries water. So children's discovery came out from their observation. I was just helping them, facilitating this reflective discussion, and they could build knowledge together. And the transcribing work takes hours and hours. But now it's so lucky that we have some AI tools. If you upload your discussion video or audio file, it will make transcribed documents in a few seconds. So it's much, much better if you are researching. You guys are lucky. And children's improvement in learning was caught in many, many different areas, in many, many times, and many, many different places. The children learned how to describe plants and the details of patterns when they're drawing and observing. And they analyzed why their building structure does not stand very well, and they keep bringing and more rocks, and they try to make it stand and make it heavy at the bottom. Or their observation for the rainy, sunny days brought the question about why and how, where is the sun at nighttime. So we also talked about day and night in the Lightroom. We set up Earth, and children learned, oh, okay, the sunny side is the daytime and the other backside, dark, is nighttime. Children could learn. And when they went to the recess places, they were helping their younger students, and they persisted in returning to the same activities for days and weeks, especially in the outdoor classroom. And they became more creative to solve problems, and also developed social skills to communicate and work together. So not only academic areas, but also their social, emotional, and communication, or different areas children could grow, and I could see. During the cycle one, the projects I focused was a Chinese New Year and community helpers. The children's discovery of a sunrise water happened during cycle 1. And through the community helpers project, the children learned to recognize numbers from the shop play, and they also started to show interest in writing letters to send the mail to their friends by drawing pictures, put them in an envelope, and put the sticker as a stamp, and they put in the mailboxes. So children could learn how to write their friends' names, not only their name, but their friends' names too. And they wanted to make lion head for the Chinese New Year. And we made one like in the books and performed it together by dancing and playing the Chinese drums and shakers together. The children started to visit documentation posters on the board when they entered the classroom, and they started to talk to each other even without unpacking. So the children showed a very, very interest on their photos on the wall. And they were very excited to find their photos and remembered what they had done, and they talked to each other. And cycle 2 learning projects were the snail house and patterns in nature. So after the accident of killing a giant snail, one of the boy accidentally stepped on it, and those big giant snail. So they did not realize that it cannot come back, and it's already died. So children learned the motor concepts, and they felt very sorry about it, and they also learned the importance of life. And they made a house for snails when they found another one, and we brought it to the classroom, and we found a few more. So we kept them and took care of them until they had to leave school for summer. And every day they brought fresh leaves and change waters for the snails. And students demonstrated higher the thinking skills by when they had to bring up the ideas of how to send the snails back to the nature. So they say, oh, we need to spray some water before it goes away. It will be so dry and thirsty. Oh, we need to place some leaves so the snail can follow the road to back home. So children were very creative, and they showed their knowledge. And Pattern in Nature project helped the children to find the patterns in nature and create their own patterns as well. And from cycle 2, I could see that some students use the documentation poster to improve their learning. This boy is checking his own building, and he was checking. So I asked him, why are you checking this one? And he said, oh, I need to check so I can make it even better than this one. So he was already improving his work by himself. And cycle 3 was a 3B education, and we are superheroes. As I mentioned, the data collection for cycle 3 was done with a different student group during the following school year. And the learning project for cycle 3 was 3B's education first. So it means be kind, be responsible, and be respectful. And the other one was we are superheroes. So when children are practicing to be kind, responsible, and respectful, and that play, children, it is extended to We Are Superheroes project. When children are practicing 3Bs at school, even at home, and the parents took pictures and videos of them at home being responsible and kind and respectful. So parents uploaded their photos from home over the weekend especially. So they uploaded on Seesaw, so we could share at school as well. So one of the student was telling when they are playing in the Lightroom, and they say, Captain America, we need your help, hurry. So, oh, okay, that could be interesting. So as I observed, and I circled in the observation note there. And then So our next learning project became We Are Superheroes. And the children created superhero items to role play, such as watch that helps them to talk to each other, or a superhero and their armbands with the paper, and they made a mask to draw and wearing the cape, and they're playing the superheroes. And all the books we read a lot of books and discussed how we can help people in the real world instead of flying or disappearing. And as a celebration of learning, we invited parents to make a superhero costume with their old shirt. So parents came in and they decorated and they put the different marks and the, ribbons and flowers and other things. So they made their superhero shirt, and we had a fashion show. One student asked me to teach how to draw mermaids. So when I showed her, and she drew so many mermaids. And later, another friend wanted to learn during the reflection time. So she volunteered, okay, I can teach you how to draw a mermaid. And so children were learning how to draw a mermaid, and they made so many mermaids everywhere, and they're sticking. Even though it was the first term with a different student group, the children used documentation to reflect with the peers without my prompt. So it was really great to see too. So here's the results of the research. So the bar graphs, you can see 3 of them. So children displayed the different higher the thinking skills during the reflective discussions. And as the children watching their photos and posters on the to share. So remembering and understanding skills were the most frequent skills because they watch their photo and they remember. And when the other friend talked, so they were understanding, oh yeah, okay, so that's what they had done. So children understanding. And you see the cycle 1, 2, 3 are in order, and the cycle 2 has a blue and red one. So the red one was the thinking skills that were found during small group reflection. The other blue ones are the thinking skills that were found during our reflective discussion in a whole group discussion. But the red one during the cycle 2, I tried with a small group reflection, and then also a big group reflection too. So that's why there are 2 colors of the bar graphs. When I found out good English speaking children dominating all the speaking time, so I really wanted to even listen to more of those ELS students and other quiet children. So I divide them into a few small groups with a close friend group, like 4 to 5 students each, who spoke the same language, and usually they are always play together. So in this way, all the children could share their activities during the reflection, and some more higher the thinking skills also showed up. And cycle 3 was done with the new student group the next school year. However, their thinking skills were already a little bit higher than the group, cycle 1, since I was more ready to practice and reflect and making documentation from the day 1. So I was more ready, and children were following more easily. That's what I feel. And the reason for not showing more higher the thinking skills were why there are not a lot of applying and analyzing, and those just creating and evaluating, not many, because it was like this in 4 to 5 year old classroom in my classroom. So was a convenient sampling. I don't know, it might work in different way and show different results in other setting or other ethnicity group. So I don't know, but we had around 10 minutes of a reflective discussion for the group reflection. So children could not focus more than that, and their attention span is quite short. So we could not bring more higher order thinking skills. And now I want I don't make documentation posters every day. I don't have to, but I want to share when you do the inquiries. If you are in IB school or if you are using the inquiry cycle, I want to share what I do, and it is working really easy and efficiently. So I can share a few tips for that. So this is the documentation with the K3 group 2 years ago. Now is it 3 years ago, 2 years ago? So here I record the children's voices and photos on the Google Slides. So I quickly dropped some of the photos, nice photos from our discussion on the slide, and also the photos on the slide. So the slide, when we are doing the discussion, I show this screen of the discussion text, and I'm typing, so children could see their names. And oh, my name is there. So they are also trying to bring up more ideas to have a better discussion, and children happy to see their name is on there. And so we are doing, and I also put the date every time, the date on the top. So this is a inquiry documentation, and you add the new pages after that. So the inquiry discussion documentation grows. And you can easily create documentation for the inquiry cycle and print it and post it in the inquiry cycle, like just now, like this. So it is going from tuning in, finding out, sorting out, going further, making conclusion, taking actions. So you can just print it and putting on the cycle, so children can visit and they can see their photos and discussions, and they can reflect on their inquiry. So and then the children, our children, they really showed interest. It was the sharing the planet unit, and our children showed a big interest in birds. So as the days went by, I recorded different discussions and new learning books and photos of children at their work. So the Google Slides were getting longer. And the children's questions were focused on the birds. So we found information about birds on Google, YouTube, and read the books. And they also wanted to know more about the bugs, like insects, because the birds eating the bugs. And so life cycle of the bugs and the birds were inspected, and we discussed this through books and YouTube videos as well. And children draw their understandings and create different artworks too. The children learned how birds and bugs help people. In conclusion, we discussed how we can protect them. And as a celebration of learning, the students made the birds to fly outside, and they made the bird feeder and hung them outdoor class trees. And they also made the paper, and also we made a big collaborative artwork on a big canvas, and we sold it for the fundraiser to support our local orphanage. So the photos and inquiry discussions on the Google slide can be moved easily to Canva. So when you want to make a nice learning story, you can bring just those discussion texts and those photos into Canva, and you can make a learning story of one whole unit, like I did at the back in the photo. So documentation poster can be more neat, and also it's easy to share whole learning story with the parents and colleagues at the end of the inquiry. So you saw how children's imagination and interest can motivate their learning and improve their thinking skills through reflections. So let's think about how we can support our children better, and like providing opportunities for them to bring questions and let them make choice during the inquiry or learning journey. And the direction of inquiry can be decided according to their children's interest, and the inquiry can be more engaging because their interests are there. And as we teachers need to create environment where children's voices are heard and choices are valued. So the environment can play the role as the third teacher. And here are some new few tips for documenting children's voices. Like you examine the daily schedule and special events coming, and observe the children and record during the day, and bring your phone everywhere to take photos, videos, or recording audio files, and later posting on the Seesaw easily. And listen to the children, record their comments on the observation note or clipboard. You bring it, or voice note is easier maybe, and capture their play movements, and be careful when to interrupt or asking questions. Some of the children might stop their play if you ask, so you need to be very careful. And record the process, so that process explains how this product came out. So it's focusing on the process more than the product. And classroom, you can display children's support their reflection, so you can display their photos and works. So you have seen different documentation from my research, but you don't have to do all of them, and it's your choice what kind of documentation you want to use and what kind of information you want to record. Children's behavior or their artwork or inquiry or communication skills, it's up to you where you want to use it. And different styles I made had different objectives. So you can choose, it's really your choice. And any style you can adapt and change a little bit is also fine. So thank you for listening to me. It was long slides, but I hope it was not too boring. And I'm happy to hear any questions or suggestions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Annie. Really insightful and interesting presentation. I guess my first question is, it seems like a lot of work putting together all of the documentation. So how do you manage that additional, I mean, Annie, you can talk a little bit about like this additional work, right, of doing all of this work versus not doing it before. And then how do you, plan for that and manage that?
Right. The first reason I really wanted to listen to the children, what's happening in their play. So started this research and focused on the Reggio Emilia approach. But luckily, my daughter grew up, she went to university. So I'm living alone in Macau. So I have a whole 3 hours. So I didn't mind to stay at school until 7, 8 p.m. every day, because I had to, the most killing job was transcribing. But now I told you, the AI tools, they can transcribe, help you. So you are very lucky. And but I was always enjoying, and I was really need to know what's happening. And those are connecting over their play. You did this yesterday, so what do you want to do today? You did this the other day, so what do you want to do today? So I was connecting children's play so they could continue their learning, and that brought the children's improvement in learning. So yes, I spent a lot of hours, and I was tired, of course, but it was worth it. And now I'm very like a kind of I know quite well about how to listen to the children and their thinking skills and where they want to support. So it was worth it. So I'm very happy to do that.
So you tried out lots of different types of documentation. Are there ones that you're planning to continue with, or what ones do you think are the most effective, I guess?
The observation note, if you are in the classroom, it's really important, because you need to observe which child needs what kind of help, or which child needs what kind of area. For example, they still cannot count when others are counting. Then you can put their favorite toy. Oh, he loves cars. So you put the cars for counting, little small toy cars. So they can count the cars. So when you observe the children and you bring up different ideas, how can I support this child with what he likes or she likes? So yeah, I'm now doing curriculum support, but I still go support the team leaders every K1, K2, K3 team leader classes 3 times a week every time. So when I go there, I observe the children and I share my observing. And so,
Mhm.
and the teachers, of course, they know and they are aware of it. So we brainstorm some of the strategies together. So how can I help more? So still I'm helping them, and also because of my major, I'm teaching their STEAM classes with the
Mhm.
K2 children with the Coda Pillar robot, and K3 children with the Terribot and Beaver robots. So
Mhm.
I'm still contacting with lots of children, and also after school I teach extra support for the who needs more English. So
Mhm.
still my studies going on. I'm still observing and bring up more ideas from my study and my experience. And so that is a good part that I can suggest different strategies. So
Mhm.
I'm still happy to be at school with working with young children.
Yeah. A lot of the documentation strategies and ideas you shared are physical, right? Like physical things on the wall or in the classroom. So I wonder, does that reduce the amount of digital things you do? Because you mentioned Seesaw as well. So does it reduce that, or does it just change that? How does that change the
Yeah, the
balance of
physical,
analog and digital?
yeah, sorry. Physical documentations I made was to collect all the data, right? So I need to see it and I also need to prove it. So
Mm,
that's why I could do a lot of physical data. And I was bringing up how can I save their voice here and there. That's why the
mm,
observation note and from the learning chart, the spiral one from different recess
mm,
places, because I also wanted to record from there, but I don't bring the observation note outside.
mm,
So whenever I think I wanted to record, then I create a different one. So that's
mm,
how it became so many different kinds. But totally you don't have to do. And the CISO post was mandatory as our school teacher,
mm.
homeroom teacher. So I was posting. So the same photo, exactly same photo from
Mm.
CISO, I use it for documentation.
I
So
see.
I was aiming the same objective. So where this child was doing this one is most meaningful for today. So I put that photo in the documentation poster. Parents already know, they've seen all the photos in the CISO. So
Mm,
they're not surprised, but they don't know their ideas, what they said. So those are in
mm,
the different documentation that I shared. Oh, so what do you think? Those are graphic organizers, they are
mm.
not seeing on the CISO. So they are
Okay.
reading and checking on the wall. So it was great that they could catch up.
Oh, that's great. So
Mm.
it's sort of a process piece, but then also a product, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a question here from Marla, sort of to my question, sort of related to my question before about time. But she says, can you say how long the children's day is versus your working hours? So sort of getting at the time commitment.
Yeah, children come to school by 8:20,
Mm,
and we have a morning meetings, and we have a snack and Mandarin Chinese language class and recess, and we encourage discussion and lunchtime. And then children take K2 takes a 1 hour nap, and after that they wake up, eat the snack, and we do another learning center or readings or different learning activities or inquiry discussion, and they go
mhm,
out to recess and come back, and they pack their backpack and go home by 3 o'clock. So
mhm,
my working hour for this organizing and printing out the photo and making all the posters and transcribing work was 3 to 4 hours every day. So I could go home 7, 8 o'clock p.m. I could go home, and you know. My head of school he's very generous. He didn't mind, I'm using the classroom until 8 9 p.m. He didn't mind. He was supporting more. So I'm very grateful for Dr. Stripper. He allowed me for my research, and my EC coordinator, he read my first draft of my thesis. So they're
mhm.
really really supportive, and still my now kindergarten vice principal, she is very supportive for this research. She allowed me to go home early. So we are really supported by all the admin, and very proud of our team and getting the authentication from IBPYP. And we are really growing and having lots of people visiting our school. And all the documentation and Reggio Emilia practice, and everything is growing really well, and our teachers are awesome.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I think that the school's should be very happy to have you working there and doing this research. And thank you very much for sharing it today. We really appreciate it. I've
Thank you
enjoyed
so much.
facilitating this very much. So have a good afternoon, and thanks again.
Thank you.